In this video, I want to walk you through how to build an AI advisory board. This is a group of bots that can help you in every aspect of your day-to-day activities, from work stuff to fitness to exploring hobbies, travel, and a whole lot more. This will build your AI skills and ensure that you never struggle with getting the same repetitive responses out of these AI systems again. I think you'll be shocked at how easy it is to get started and how rewarding it feels to get this group of advisors brainstorming with each other, and you'll be at the helm guiding these rich discussions toward improving any problem you're struggling with. I'm going to walk you through a three-step process here. The first step is building your board of advisors, the second step is hosting the discussion, and the third step is summarization and next steps. The examples we're going to be using is updating your website copy, something we all know very well and love to do, I'm sure. Just kidding. It's always a drag for me. Maybe you love it. I don't know. I'll show you an easy way to do it. And then too, something a little more fun, planning an adventure vacation. We're going to get Bear Grylls discussing with Henry David Thoreau and other adventure experts on the ideal vacation. Then I want to follow up with some helpful frameworks, other ways that you can expand upon this technique. These frameworks include analyzing your daily duties and another framework I've been using a lot called the inner and outer game. All right, so the first two prompts here we're going to look at starts very simply. Who would be the best type of expert for? And then you put in whatever problem you're trying to solve. The example today is write copy for my website. Then the follow-up prompt, who are the best copywriters or whoever it might be of all time. I do have a cheat sheet version of this in my Patreon for all my Patreon subscribers. It's got all of the prompts we're going to go through today and a ton of different lists of some of the most ideal advisors to have on your board. This includes startup advisors, business coaches, marketing experts, and a ton of other resources there. But let's jump into this example. Who would be the best type of expert to write copy for my website? ChatGPT 4 pulled together this list of different experts that would be great to have on a board of advisors for writing website copy. I couldn't agree more with this. I think the one that it pointed out here that I wasn't thinking about is industry experts. Of course, those would be great folks to have on your board of advisors. So I followed up with who are some of the best copywriters of all time. And it says there have been some great copywriters throughout history. It lists a bunch of these copywriters. I keep going through its list in that fashion. Who are some of the best SEO experts of all time? It lists Rand Fishkin, Brian Dean. I know for a fact those folks are some of the best SEO experts of all time. And who would be the leading experts in starting and running a local bakery? That's what the example of this website is for. So I wanted to grab some industry experts there. I had to nudge it a little bit. Can you think of specific individuals in this area? And it pulled together some individuals who actually were very helpful in creating the copy, as you'll see here in a second. Who are some of the best content marketers of all time? Pulled together a great list of content marketers here. And from there we have enough to be dangerous, so we are going to move on to the next session of hosting this discussion. So for this, we want to go into our custom instructions, and under what would you like ChatGPT to know about you to provide better responses, I just put a brief description, one sentence of the discussion that you're hoping to have. And then in the second part of the custom instructions, this is the most important critical part here, is you want to add this copy to that second part, which is how would you like ChatGPT to respond. This is the copy you want to add. I would like you to take on various personas during this conversation. Please use a conversational tone and do not reply with lists. Here are the personas I would like you to switch between when I address you by your first name. And after that, you want to put in your list of experts. You want to cherry pick the lists of experts from the results that you previously got and put those in your board of advisors, selecting the ones that you feel would be the most impactful for whatever problem you're trying to solve. And I'll show you how that's done. So to get to your custom instructions, you just want to log in, click these three little buttons down here, go to custom instructions. If you haven't enabled this, you might need to enable it here in settings and beta. Otherwise, go into your custom instructions. You can see I've put this one sentence description about the discussion I want to have. I'm updating the website copy, looking for advice on how to go about this. And then the most critical part is down here. Again, inserting that prompt that I just showed you, and then putting in a cherry-picked version of all the different experts that was generated from that last discussion we had with ChatGPT. These are the different experts we want on the panel here. You're limited by 1,500 characters, so you can't put in a ton, but you can get more than enough in there. You want to make sure that custom instructions is enabled with this slider. Click save here, and you should be off to the races. So once I had that in my custom instructions, I was able to start very general. I'm looking to update the copy on my website. It's a local bakery. David, where should I start? And this is signaling to the custom instructions to engage David Ogilvy. And he starts talking about the first step is to understand your customers, who they are, what are they looking for, etc. Then I went, okay, Joanne, who is one of the industry experts who has created many different bakeries and knows a ton about this audience. Joanne, you have run a bakery for a long time. What, in your opinion, are customers looking for? And Joanne writes, here's what customers are looking for. Amy, another industry expert that was in that panel who has run successful bakeries. Amy, do you have anything to add to that? Completely agree, she says. Great. Now we're going to Rand Fishkin. Now that we know a little bit about our customers, how do we go about fleshing out this website copy? He gives you some ideas there, and then I toss it to Joe. Hey, Joe Polizzi, who's a very powerful content marketer. Since you're a master of content, can you take a crack at drafting some copy for this homepage? Great. He takes a crack at this first piece of copy here, and you can just see as this goes on, I go through each of those personas, and I say, awesome, Neil, how might we improve this? Neil, SEO expert, talks about some ideas there for relevant keywords. I then say, great, can you take a crack at the revision here? And he revises that copy. And then we start to get into some really interesting things where it talks about locally sourced ingredients and building a community that started to turn into a whole campaign, a lot more than just website copy, but all these ideas of things that I think would really resonate with this particular audience and things that I hadn't even thought about before. So I toss it back to David Ogilvy. I go back and forth and we just continue to flesh this out. We move on to, there's the home page here, then we move on to an About Us page and just have a great conversation very quickly and easily, creating some amazing website copy for a local bakery. And now I want to turn to the adventure example. So I started this whole process again. What are some experts that would be included in an ideal group of people to help me plan an adventure vacation in Maine? And it says, hey, planning an adventure vacation in Maine is an exciting process. Here are some of the people you might want to involve. So I just say, great. What are some of the best travel agents of all time? And in this instance, again, it started to list companies, so I had to nudge it again to say, what can you name some specific people? It named a few different people here. Then I went on to adventure tour operators, who are the best of all time. Please name some specific examples. Pulled together some great examples of those folks. Who might be some of the best local guides? It wasn't able to pick local guides, but I then asked it, if you had to pick 2 to 3 people from history to help you explore Maine, who might they be? Henry David Thoreau, I had no idea, wrote a whole book about exploring Maine. Rachel Carson and Parsival Baxter, who actually formed the Baxter State Park in Maine. I went on, what are some notable experts on Maine's wilderness and history? Just went through all of the different people that it recommended, the different types of experts. Again, I cherry picked all of this and pulled it into my custom instructions. And here's what those custom instructions look like. You can see I just pulled together a quick description of the conversation that I want to have, and I put in that same prompt here. I would like you to take on various personas, and this is the list that I cherry picked here. Bear Grylls was one that I found and had some amazing interactions with. You'll see in the conversation was probably the most thoughtful, probably because he has so much content out there. I think that may be something to think about. The less content these different personas have out in the wild, out on the internet, the less useful they might be. So as you progress in using this process, you might want to just store the personas that are the most beneficial to you. I feel like I could have just a one-on-one virtual conversation with AI Bear Grylls about this, but a lot of really cool people. Bruce Poontip, had no idea who that was, founder of G Adventures. E.B. White was very impactful in the conversation, you'll see in a second, all the way through Henry David Thoreau. So it's amazing to see these different experts from throughout history brainstorming on helping to build an adventure vacation in Maine. And here's what it looks like. You can see some similarities here. I just start very easy. Hello, I'm planning an adventure vacation in Maine and I need your help. Bruce, what's the best way to start planning a trip like this? Bruce jumps in. Then I throw it to Archie, and Laura weighs in as a different wildlife expert there. Awesome. Then I get to Bear Grylls. Bear Grylls has some great ideas. He says start with planning on a theme. He gives me some ideas of a theme for that vacation. And from there, I'm able to build out a pretty awesome vacation idea. What I did after this, getting into the summarization step, I simply selected all of this. I just copied and pasted everything here, copied this into Claude. Claude is great because it has a very large context window and you can put a ton of information in. So I just copied and pasted that entire conversation that I had, which was fairly long. And I said, can you please summarize this conversation into a complete plan for an adventure vacation in Maine? Great. Here is the summary. The theme is nature immersion. Here are the locations, activities we discussed, other recommendations, volunteer in a conservation project, engage with local communities. Really cool. And then I said, what are the best next steps here? And it says, here are the best next steps. And this might lead you to your next discussion. So you might start the whole process all over again, really just honing in on these next steps. Moving along, some really cool frameworks I have found for implementing this is your daily duties framework. So here's a prompt that might be helpful, just asking the AI without any custom instructions. Make sure you turn your custom instructions off. I've made that mistake many times as I've been experimenting with this where they're still on, and you need to turn those off to reset everything. But just asking it, give me a few questions about my daily duties and help you identify places where you might want to have a discussion with your different experts. Here's another one that I really like, looking at your inner game and your outer game. So looking at your work, your hobbies, your relationships, trying to find who are the best board of directors for my fitness or for my diet. That's part of the inner game. Mind, looking at continuous learning. That's one of the lists I have in the cheat sheet that I'm most excited about, is all the experts who are dedicated to lifelong learning, having discussions with them about how to continuously learn. So I have found this framework very helpful to make sure that nothing is left out of balance. There are very few things that don't fit into these particular buckets. So if you're thinking of just ideas to brainstorm and research and use this board of advisors technique on, I would encourage these. And finally, I appreciate you watching. Again, I have this all available in a cheat sheet that's available to my Patreon supporters. This cheat sheet in particular has a ton of resources. I went a little bit ham on this one and just started generating a bunch of different lists of adventure experts, business and process system experts, all sorts of people that I think would be very useful. And really this helps to break the AI out of the repetitive conversations that you tend to have with it and can get you right to some amazing source material. If you're a content creator, this is a gold mine. One that I've wanted to do is just think about getting maybe 2 yoga experts to talk with 2 neuroscience experts and brainstorm on different blog posts or video content you might want to create. So I hope you got a lot out of this. Please consider joining my Patreon. Really helps me create videos like this. At this point, I have many dozens of cheat sheets in there. There are some coaching options. I've been working with different businesses, helping them implement AI to streamline and automate all of their different tasks. And my mission is just empowering freelancers and entrepreneurs worldwide by providing a comprehensive and practical AI skill set that can drive profitability and business success. So if you want to be part of that mission, please check out the Patreon. If you have questions about this, I'm curious, put them in the comments. Definitely feel free to subscribe. That really helps, and I'll see you on the next video.